Hi everyone. Before I go to the gym, there was one issue that I was asked about to discuss, and that was my recent experience with a restraining order and what that was like, and what that experience is, and what happens, and what the process is, and what do you do when there's a false one, and also what a stay order is, and what it's actually like in the court. Because a lot of people go through this, unfortunately, that when they're dealing with a high conflict ex-partner, or just with family members, or if they have, if they're a caregiver with somebody, which I saw. And so what I want to tell people, because a lot of people cannot afford a lawyer, and which is what you're going to see when you're in the courtroom, and from my personal experience, what I saw. And so the most important thing when you receive a restraining order, and what we see, and I know from my experience, is a lot of them are false. The court does know this. A lot of the time when you go into the courtroom, you see the majority of the restraining orders are from family members, are from ex-partners, that are third parties, obviously, that are ex-partners, or they're using another third party to file them. Unfortunately, they're very hard to enforce. They're very hard to prove. And when you do file one, you want to make sure that you do have evidence. I want to reiterate that. I want to make sure to stress that. When you go into the courtroom, what you're going to see is most of the judges are going to ask, when you go in there, do you have a lawyer? Okay. Because often what's going to happen is you are going to be served by someone. Usually it's out of nowhere. Half of the time people have no idea that they're going to be. I've seen it where some people have no idea that they're going to receive a restraining order, especially when you're dealing with a third party that's incredibly high conflict. I mean, I'm talking, you're dealing with a personality that every time you turn around, you're being dragged to court for something. It is very common to receive a restraining order out of nowhere. And you're like, what is this? And do not be surprised if they have accused you of going to their house. You've called them 1,000 times. You don't even know who this person is. Usually it's a high conflict partner's new partner, and it's somebody that you've never even heard of in your life. This is done as a logistical tactic to ruin your reputation. This is on purpose, and people see through this. But anyways, if you get this out of nowhere, don't be surprised, don't panic, but the most important thing to do is respond right away. And this is what I've learned from my personal experience. Call a lawyer right away, go to the courthouse and do what you need to do to respond right away. Because if you don't show up for court, that restraining order will be enforced, because usually when you get the first one, it doesn't mean anything. A temporary doesn't mean anything, because they have to verify and show, well, why did you do this? And almost always there's no evidence. What happened, you know what I mean? So number one, when you go in there, what they're going to do for you is both parties show up. The judge, number one, always prefers a mediator. They're going to ask you, do you have a lawyer? If you don't, okay, look, the judge is going to say, I want a mediator to negotiate with both parties. So they're going to sit down, they're going to hear your side of the story, they're going to hear the other person's side of the story, especially the reason, why did you take out a restraining order? And so they're going to try to figure out. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, if it's bogus, they're going to throw it out. That is good for you. Whoever's listening to this, because I'm pretty sure if you're here, if you stumbled upon this, this is good news for you. If you received a restraining order out of nowhere, and I don't care if it's your neighbor, your mom, your dad, if it's a high conflict ex-partner, listen to me very carefully. What you can do is, this is considered slander. If there's no evidence that there is a false restraining order that's been filed upon you, you can go to small claims court. I know from personal experience, guess what I'm doing? And it sucks because, number one, the emotional trauma that you are going through is horrible. But what you can do is, once you go through this process and you prove that it's false, which is, it's almost like hard to get a restraining order, number one, proven, and second, to enforce. But once you prove that it's absolutely bogus, you can turn around and go to small claims court and sue the hell out of the person that filed this, because number one, it ruins your reputation, and number two, it shows that somebody filed it against you, right? And I'm going to go into that in a second because this is why this is so important. When you do this, so after you see a mediator, the concept is understand why are you there. So they're going to throw it out, like I said, and that's good for you. So this is the other reason why I'm saying this. To the people that like to file, I need you guys to think very carefully of why you're going to file a restraining order. Because unless it's valid, this is going to hurt you because you have a massive chance of being sued by the person that you're filing a restraining order on. And a lot of people don't think about this. They learn the hard way. This is why the courts are starting to get smart and realize that these restraining orders are actually, a majority of them, family members that are using them as a third party to control child custody arrangements. It doesn't matter the gender, I don't care the situation, but they're using that to control the other party to gain favor with the divorce court. And divorce court is not stupid, they see through this. What happens is it backfires on the person who files a false restraining order. Why? It's parent alienation and parent poisoning. And it makes the other person look like, hey, I didn't do anything, obviously. It is parent alienation, it's parent poisoning, and you can use that as slander because it does hurt your career, it hurts your reputation because, let's be honest, the third party that filed, say for example, if it's your ex-partner and their girlfriend or their boyfriend files it against you, you've never met them, they're the ones saying, oh, you called my house 1,000 times, you've driven by me, I'm afraid of you, and you prove that they are bogus. In fact, they're the one calling you. You go in there and you show them, I'm receiving all these phone calls, I've been screamed at, I've actually had somebody else come by my house. Now I can't prove who it is, but we kind of know who it is. They actually look bad. In fact, it bounces back on them, not you. And so it's like, what is the point of the entire thing? Well, there is a point. It's for attention. The person that files it is basically wanting to gain the attention of the ex-high conflict partner. They're doing this to gain favor. They're using it for a manipulation to help the ex-high conflict partner. But not only that, their self-esteem is so low that they're willing to do anything. But here's the kicker that nobody wants to think about. If they've never seen you, especially if it's, well, let's just be honest, a female, and this is my personal opinion, if they've never met you, they're dying of curiosity. So what is the only way they're going to actually see you is if they get you in court, because let's be honest, some people, they're curious. What do you look like? I want to see if I'm prettier than you. I want to see if I'm skinnier. I want to see if I'm fatter than you. You know, not all of us do that, but there are some people, the people that literally will file a false restraining order against you will do this because they're dying of curiosity. It's extreme, but they will do this because they want to know, and it's the only way. And most of us don't care. We want to move on with our life. Whether it's been 2 years, 5 years, 4 years, what the hell's wrong with you? But they will do this because they're children. This is high school. So needless to say, if you're curious as why they're doing this, it's, if you look at the flip side, it's because they want to know who you are. And the only way they can find out is by getting you into court and seeing what you look like that way. And also they're doing it to help your ex-high conflict partner or family member or a friend to gain favor in the other court. And it's not going to work. Now remember, like I said, you need to get some guidance and really consider, this is slander. Go to small claims court. Go look into filing and sue the hell out of them. This is something that people don't consider. I will say this, it is very hard to enforce a restraining order. I had one myself. The reason why is because when you do have all the phone calls and all the things that's showing that you are being severely harassed, what they do is they press, there's a certain number and it hides your name, it hides your phone number, and they know this. A person that is actually stalking you, and it sucks being stalked. I was stalked for several months. It was frightening, and I have disabled children. I mean, it was absolutely frightening. They know this. They know what they're doing. They're not stupid. So they will use ways to hide their phone number, or the way that you can't actually see them. And so they know what they're doing. And so when you go and you show the police, you can file all these reports, but they say we can't actually really enforce this because they've hidden their identity, or they're using an app that picks phone numbers. So when you show up to court, they're like, well, you don't know what's me. You don't know what's me. So it's a game. It's a tactic game. So anybody who's watching this, and I hope this spreads, please be aware that this is done on purpose to manipulate you, to use this in court, or to screw with your head. Remember, this is logistical, it's tactical, and it's considered warfare. It's civilian warfare. And it's sad that we're like this, but please understand that this is modern times, and these are people, most people are not like this. Most people don't care. They move on with their lives. They get a divorce, they meet somebody, or, they just move on. Most people are nice. Most people can work together, and after 5 years, I mean, come on, we all move on, and we can work together and say, you know what, I've met somebody else. It's okay. We can work it out. People move on. They're friendly. But sometimes there are some people that cannot do that, or they have a new partner that manipulates them emotionally and twists their head and is just dying to meet you. And this is why they're doing it, is because they have self-esteem issues, and they want to see you, that, or they just get a kick out of it. But it's the only logical explanation of why they are willing to literally lie to a judge. They want to ruin your reputation. They want to make it to where it's hard for you to get a job, because if you think about it, most people that are divorced or moved on or separated from a family, they want you to get a career. They want you to have a job. They want you to be able to support your kids. So it doesn't make any sense for somebody to file a false restraining order, because it's hard for you to get a job. You don't want to do that. You actually want somebody to go get a job so they can pay child support, or they can move out of your house if it's your kids. Why would you do that? It doesn't make any sense, because these people make no sense, and the court sees that. So when you go into the court, understand it's not scary. Have all your papers in a row. Show the phone numbers that, if they're saying you've called them, print out your cell phone. Show them that you've never called them. If it's only incoming calls, print that out. It's going to be thrown out. If they say that you've emailed them, print out all the emails that you've sent out. If it's going to show that you never sent it to them. Keep those for small claims court, is what you do. So keep everything that you get from court. Keep that for small claims court, okay? They said you've driven by their house, so it's a little bit harder to prove, but you're going to have friends and family. What's going to save you is the phone calls, the email, any of the paperwork, because that's going to throw it out, because it's going to undermine what they're saying. Because a lot of people just write whatever. They don't care, because it's emotional. They're like children, and they just want you there. The only thing that they care about is filing it against you, so it shows on the internet, so it shows on social media, because they're about ruining your reputation. They don't actually care if they win. They know they're going to lose. They don't care about that. See, the game is to get you into court, to get you to look bad, to hurt your feelings, to make them look better, because they want to feel better. And like a little kid, to make the ex-partner, or to make the family member or the friend, whoever it is, look, feel good, to make them look good. They're very childish, so please remember that. So this is what I've seen when I was in court. Almost all the people that had restraining orders, almost all of them were false. It was all family members. There was one or two elderly people that were trying to get one against somebody that was stealing money. That was kind of tragic. But most of them, I talked to people, they're like, I don't even know who the hell this is. Or it's my situation that was similar, and they were all thrown out. And then they're like, yeah, I'm going to sue the hell out of them now. I'm like, this is slander. And of course, I have an attorney. And they're like, yeah, you don't realize what it is, but it's the whole point is they still partially went away, because you purposely did this through my name. Yeah. Most people don't think like this. Now we can obviously restore a name, and it takes, but I'm sharing this because I want you to know, and I don't care who you are, what gender you are, how old you are, color, creed. This is for you. This is for you to take your power back. You know, because I learned this through sweat, blood, spending money, losing stuff, not understanding what the hell's wrong with people. I want you to get your life back and to get your family back, to build yourself up, get your career back. You know, all of us in the community that are going through this, we all have our own experience, and I've learned from a lot of other people what has happened. And if you see me in my car all the time, it's because I'm driving everywhere, because I have disabled children, and that's a joke with us in the special needs community. But I'm also in the community that has high conflict partners. See if you want to add that together. So like I said, I'm starting this because I was asked to, because I've been through so much. And hopefully in time, I had to quit school for a semester because of this semester, so that was heartbreaking, but I'm hoping to restart this winter. So we'll see what happens, and hopefully I can change it into something. We'll see what happens. Hopefully that'll be good, but I'm hoping to get to meet some people, and I want to thank other people in the community. And remember, guys, you can beat this and beat the hell out of them. You know, get them financially for doing this to you. You can win. I don't care who you are, where you are financially. Make them pay financially for doing this to you. Get your life back. Alrighty, well, on the next video, I'm going to talk about the stay away order, which is what we did. And it's right after this. It'll be kind of like a part 2, because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm learning as I go. All right, thank you. Bye-bye.